we go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the From the Banking podcast. We're live on YouTube, and we're still recovering from the Grand Prix down at Silverstone last weekend. I am joined by my lovely co-host, Aaron. Hello, Aaron. How you doing?
Not bad. Knackered a bit, no kill. It's Friday, so hooray.
Oh, testing up at
Something.
Not Kill, aye. Super, super. Now, many of you will probably remember over the course of last weekend, I put a post out on TikTok asking if there was anyone that was working for Silverstone or affiliated with Silverstone anyway that would like to come on the podcast and give us a little bit of insight and all the little stories that go with it. And we have Joel. Hello,
Hi guys,
Joel.
you all right? How you doing?
Not bad at all. Now, Joel, you work as a manager at the karting and many other things. Would you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yep, so you're absolutely right. I do work as a manager over the new kart track at Silverstone, and as being employed by Silverstone, during any kind of big events, we, especially the Grand Prix, we actually shut. The whole kart track was basically removed, apart from the tarmac, and the main stage and a big shot was on there. So during Formula One, we have the option to basically apply for the roles. So this time around, I applied for a steward/security sort of role, and was positioned over in Escapades. So the new kind of big apartments on the back of Maggie's and Beckett.
Excellent. So when you say you apply for it, yours is a paid role,
Yes.
like security and steward and stuff. It's a
Yes.
paid role.
So basically, would accommodate for what our hours would normally be had the track been open. Yeah.
Right.
But
Excellent.
rather than obviously us not working, as you can imagine, there's a hell of a lot of people that need to run Silverstone during Grand Prix. Not only you amazing guys on track in the Orange Army, but a lot behind the scenes. So they opened it up to us. And yeah, security is what I went for. Security is what I got. And a fantastic weekend, to be fair. Really, really good.
Really, really hot, though, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, I've well and truly tanned. 4 days in the sun. It's a lot, but a cracking weekend, I think, overall.
Yeah, it was a really from a marshal's perspective as well. I have to say it's probably one of the best organised that Motorsport UK has ever been for us, and Silverstone as well. The food tents were organised and everything was great. The sign-on tent, absolutely great. We actually had Rui. Do you know Rui? Rui he was the race director for last weekend.
Okay, right. I'm not. No.
Kind of like the Charlie Whiting for the FIA. So he came up to the Marshalls campsite for the flag briefing because we all had different briefings. So I was a flaggy, so we had a briefing at 6:30. The incident guys had a briefing at different times. But he came up and he was explaining everything. Yeah, it was, I must admit, it was probably one of the best British Grand Prix from a Marshalls perspective anyway. So the karting, is that, just going back to the karting before we go into the other stuff, is the karting open to anybody throughout the year?
Yes.
Or is it like a booking thing?
Correct. So anybody can book throughout the year. We currently run our own little championship for the time being, which is certain weekends of the month, which is over 8 rounds, I think, this year. So we only opened in Easter. Yeah.
Yes, because I remember last year when I was at the Grand Prix last year, there was a lot of advertisements about the karting stuff.
Yeah, so we opened to public in Easter, and yeah, anybody can book it. We do have a couple of championships coming through October, September sort of time. So the big one for me is the British Kart Championship. So we've got 2 rounds of those guys, and a couple of other championships as well. And then next year we're looking at kicking on and having basically our own karting championship and getting that up and running as well. Like you tend to get, your other clubs and have a club championship, basically.
Yeah. Well, we've got up at Knockhill this weekend, actually, we've got the Supercats, Aaron, is that right?
Yes, we have, which are absolutely rapid right now. I mean, to the fast than the Formula 4 cars.
I think they take off faster than a Formula, than some take off faster than an F1 car. So the 250 gearbox is probably what you have. They are unbelievable.
Yeah, they sound crazy,
How long's the track at Silverstone for the Cats?
1,300 metres. So it just meets the FIA international license spec.
Many corners have you got?
On the
Sorry to put you on the
it's fine.
spot.
On the full Grand Prix layout, as we call it, is 18, I think.
So have you got different layouts for different championships?
We can run 5 different layouts. Typically, what we tend to do on a standard weekend is we'll split the track almost in half. So we'll have the international side will be adults, which is generally a quicker track, with the old bank corner, which goes under the bridge, so part of the old F1 circuit. And then Village is what the younger guests use, and that's 700 metres long. So we kind of split it. We can run both at once. Both tracks use the old F1 circuit, or in parts of it anyway. And then we've got the big Grand Prix.
Is it laid out like Silverstone GP circuit? I've never seen it from the roof, from the top type thing.
No, not particularly. So they've gone something a little bit different. So we've still got a Maggie's and Beckett section, and we've still got kind of corners which are influenced by the main circuit. But then I think part of it was making something of our own as well. So it takes inspiration from it, certainly, but it's not an exact replica. which to be fair, I actually quite like. There's a few different ideas,
Excellent.
but I think it's quite nice to have something different, because the Silverstone itself surprisingly quite accessible in terms of track days and stuff through the week. There's there's always kind of sessions available for people. So I think it's good that we have something similar, but then a little bit different as well.
Brilliant. What was I going to say? Is it electric carts? Petrol carts?
Yeah.
Petrol. So do you have to keep petrol on site
we've
for that?
We've got a couple of Bowsers that we tend to use. We've got 4 or 5 of those, and 90 carts in the fleet. 55 adult carts. 90.
Wow.
So the one.
So what's the?
Go on, sorry.
Yep. Sorry. On you.
The one. The car that you'll have seen probably most this weekend, or last weekend, should I say now, was a double-seater, which the F1 guys were doing on the Hamilton Straight. Don't know if you saw that.
Okay.
So that's how all the carts, basically, what you saw would have been from our track. So the double-seater is what we tend to use. We use it as a bit of a pace car, and then we'll also use it if there's any kind of disabled drivers or anybody who needs a bit of assistance or any shy kids. We'll have one of our experienced drivers go out with them, so they can do the steering or the pedals either way. Like you saw on TV, one does the pedal, one can do the steering.
Right,
so it's good. It makes it nice and accessible. And I think what's quite cool as well is the fact that about 80% of the grid's now sat in that and being in that. So that'll get a bit of interest, I think, all of a sudden.
Talking about accessibility, do you have anything that somebody with like a physical disability could use, or is that...
So the double cart especially is really good for that. As I say, because you can have it, you could just do the pedals if you want. You can just do the steering if you want. You jump in with one of our more experienced drivers or more experienced marshals. So we've actually got quite a few marshals on the team who do a lot of either racing themselves or karting. So upper management have done really, really well with recruiting and pulling people like that. So one of them currently races BMWs. One of Ollie was a European karting champion a couple of years ago.
Wow, excellent.
So a lot of people who've got experience and done it before. So in terms of accessibility, we can use that. All the carts are adjustable as well, which certainly helps.
Right. Okay.
Pedal, seat, everything is adjustable. So we will. What we do is we make sure that we can get literally everybody on track that is physically able to sit in a car. Then
yeah. And you know what? That's really good from Silverstone, because where I am, there's only maybe 3 or 4 karting places, but you do need to be more or less able-bodied to go and do what they do on the track.
Yeah, I imagine.
Just with accessibility.
I imagine if you're doing North Hill a lot, you'd have Larkhall somewhere relatively nearby.
Yes, it's near. It's quite near. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's what's the kart track on the? There's one on the East Coast. Really, really on the East Coast. I'm trying to think.
East Scotland Kart Club. I don't know what it's called, but I know the club.
I think Scott.
We've got Scott Kart as well.
Okay.
But Scott Kart are mainly indoor.
There's one which is literally next to the ocean, and if there's a strong tide, it goes onto the straight.
I know what track.
I forgot the name of it
because one of the SMRC media teams talked about it to me today because she races there. Oh, it's Glenn something I want to say. Is it no? Yeah. Well, I'll find that. Hold on.
Adam will go and look that up.
I'll find it.
Why I've got you on as well. So obviously, you have a season and maybe an off season. Is there quite a lot of track maintenance that you have to do to the track?
There is, to be fair. There is. So with having so many layouts, there's a lot of kind of tyre barriers going on and a lot of touching up and repainting. That happens quite a lot. But then it's also just just make sure everything looks presentable, because obviously we've got the brand Silverstone behind us. So it's absolutely vital that people have actually so come with an expectation. We got to deliver. We got to exceed that, which I actually quite like.
Yeah.
It keeps you on your toes, and in terms of maintenance, there's a lot, especially now the main stage has gone, which was literally on the outside of our first corner for the main circuit.
Yeah. Because you've literally had hundreds of thousands of people walking on your painted lines, haven't you, for the past
on the grass, 4
days.
Yeah. I spent a couple of hours there Saturday night, to be fair, watching Chasing Status, and there's a lot going on now, and it's just generally curbs. Generally, like you get on main circuit, it's kind of curb painting, tyre barriers.
Yeah.
Doing whatever you can with the grass. We've had a heat wave for about 3 weeks now, so the grass is...
Yeah. Saying that, you do tend to find your Doningtons, Crofts, your Knock Hills, their curbs usually get repainted like a week before the touring cars come to visit, as long as it looks nice for the telecameras.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, obviously, when the Formula One arrived on the... What do you mean, like Tuesday, Wednesday, people were starting to come in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was out on track painting, what did I paint? Vale, Copse, Luffield. So we were painting all the white curbing up there. So if there's any splodgers, that was probably me, to be fair.
No splodges at Copse anyway. Definitely no splodges at Copse. See the cameras that they have in the curbs. Are they there all year on the main Grand Prix circuit?
No.
They just
No, so we had two teams out. So I was a part of the team paint all the white curbing, and we had a team of red. And I think we'd finished on the Tuesday afternoon. And then there was a separate team which went around from Formula One management afterwards, who would then kind of put those in. And
right. I take it the infrastructure's kind of there for it. It's just a case of them putting their hardware in.
So you can see where the wood go, pencil size
Right.
hole, I guess. So you could see where the wood fit, but it's up to them to kind of install them. So if not, every time there's a big event on, like say with F1 or British touring cars, we'd inevitably paint over the lens every single time. So they come in.
Just quickly. It's all right, mate. Just quickly back to the car before we go into the what I think is the most exciting one, the F1 sim racing stuff. We'll go into that in a minute. What was I going to ask now? I forgot what I was going to ask. That was it. So, is there what's the kind of times you can book at the karting? Is it like an hour session? Is it a couple of hours? Can you book like a half day for a championship where you're like a stag do type thing?
Yes, so there's a couple of options, to be fair. So one option is what we call these open laps, which is basically a free practice session. So it's a 20-minute free practice session. There is still transponders fitted, and you still get timing, but obviously it's not for position. It's just like Formula One would be with a free practice session. Yeah. Then we do a Silverstone 30, which is a 10-minute qualifying and a 30-minute race. Okay. Silverstone 60, which is very similar, 10-minute qualifying and then a 60-minute race. And then anything beyond that would be what we call an exclusive hire. So you book the track for 2, 3, 4 hours, whatever you want, the whole day if you want. But the way they work is you book the track, you book the venue, and you get the staff as well. And really, it's whatever you want to do with it. So it's quite cool. We had a few big names come in. I can't say too much. We've had a lot of kind of YouTube and influencers come through when we first opened. I don't think all of that's come out yet, so I can't say too much.
Yeah, there's a lot of embargo stuff.
Yeah, there is. And then our biggest event so far, we had a 8-hour endurance race. That was really good, to be fair. And then a 24 the week after, or a couple of weeks after.
Did you say 24
hours? Yeah, with 4 drivers in it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
he's got
the minimum was 4 per team.
Okay.
Oh, per team.
Right.
No.
No,
I think we had 48 karts out.
Right.
That surprised me. So was it a bit? Is it what's it called? First of all, I think the kart track you're on about is Grampian.
That sounds about right.
Someone designed.
The tiny little thing by the coast,
And I cannot remember the name of it now. They do tons of the Buckmore. Is the track a bit like Buckmore, you'd say, or you'd say do sort of big races like 24 and all that?
So it's about 52, 53 seconds a lap on average. So I'd probably more compare it to somewhere like PFI than Buckmore if you've been there in Lincolnshire.
Yeah.
Just because it's got quite a few long straights on it. Whereas Buckmore, obviously, you've kind of got that tight top section, then you're down the hill.
Yeah.
So it's almost a mix between Buckmore and PFI if you're looking at kind of two tracks to say where it's come from.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a cracking little circuit, to be fair. It's quick. It is quick. And then I'm interested to see when we get the owner drivers out there. You know, when people have got their own karts and their own stuff. We've had a lot of testing. They're available once a month, I think, at the minute. But that'll pick up. But yeah, we've got the championships coming end of September, start of October. So that's almost like Little Formula 1 would be, to be fair.
Yeah. Do you know what your lap record is at the moment? Or John's disconnected, Joey?
I wouldn't be able to tell you, to be fair. I'm not 100%. I think you're probably looking around 51 seconds-ish as a rule.
All right.
On average, people around about 52, 53 is a quick lap on what we call our international circuit. So that would be the adults circuit using our karts. In terms of the Grand Prix circuit, when people are using their own karts, I'm not too sure because I've never seen an actual official timed session. There will be people out there with stopwatches and, the dashes on the karts, obviously. So they'll have a rough idea how quick it is. But nothing official to say it's, it's
that, yeah.
And so that'll come in as soon as we kind of get start free practice with the British Car Championships September sort of time. But it'll be interesting.
Right. Yeah, well, it should be. So is that getting broadcast?
Yeah,
is that like a live stream on YouTube?
Yeah. It's live stream.
I want to say, didn't they get either that or another kart championship? Didn't they get on Sky Sports F1?
Yeah, that's the British Car Championship, yeah.
There we go. I mean to watch, I keep forgetting it's on Sky Sports F1, so it should be interesting. But yeah, so just talk about kart tracks as a whole. Obviously, we've got one up at Knockhill. It's a bit shorter. We've sort of got a straight hairpin, straight, and it just sort of goes on like that. So what would you say sort of makes a karting circuit? Do you do a bit of everything, or is there something like dynamics and bits you need to sort of make it a track?
For me personally, I like something technical. I like it kind of tight and twisty. I think maybe 1 or 2 decent straights help, but you definitely need a technical section. A lot of tracks where I grew up when I was marshalling were old airfields, so I don't know if you know places like, say, Kimbolton or Fulbeck or Shennington. They're 3 old airfields right in the middle of the country, not a million miles away from where I am. But you've very much got a long straight, a hairpin, back down another long straight, and then a bit of a turning circle, because it would have been 2 runways and a turning circle for the planes.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of those will kind of put bus stops in, or what we call bus stops. It'll be a little chicane halfway up. They're very quick, but they're not very technical as a rule. So for me, places like Buckmore, I think, are fantastic. Larkhall especially, because it is so twisty and it's so tight. I think you need those you need a place where you can get a run on people on the straights, but then also have nice slow corners where you can have overtaking and you don't want it like Monaco where you're just in a long line and nobody can get past. But you also, comparing it to other tracks, you also don't kind of want it like Spa where if you're a couple of kilograms lighter than somebody, you're off. I think tight and technical is a way for me. We're very lucky at Silverstone because we've got the big bank corner. Down in front of the museum and where the old F1 circuit was. It's actually on quite a steep bank. So it's not something you tend to get very often, but I think that makes it really interesting. You've got a long straight before it as well. So you can kind of line up a move and you can see what, you can kind of tell where people are going to be. And then you've got a long straight after. So if you nail it going through there, it's quite a good place to overtake.
So it's like sort of like I'm assuming not, but is it like sort of comparable to Zandvoort with a banking? Or is it a bit sort of more...
The last section I'll probably say is, to be fair. So you come out of a double hairpin into a long left-hander, a long sweeping left-hander, and then you're back on yourself. You even breed a wider hairpin onto the start-finish straight. But when I say hairpin, I mean it's a really, really long, elongated corner. So I guess it would be a bit like Zandvoort in that last section. And again, it's a really good corner because it's so tight. You can fit probably 3 carts wide on it. But when you get to the apex, it's 1 cart wide. So you've really got to sort yourself out and get into position before you get into that section. Otherwise, you're in trouble. And it's more kind of tight and technical than a long, big, open sort of airfield track, ironically.
What do you think about undulations and
stuff? I
like
it. I think it adds a twist.
Have you ever been to Knockhill?
Yes.
Yeah. You have?
Yeah.
Excellent.
The first section cracking.
May I ask how come you were up at Knockhill from away down south?
I think I've been up at Larkhall, and we popped in. So there's one of the stewards actually from up there, Steve. I work with him, the Formula 1 sim racing world. So he's the steward quite up there quite a lot. So yeah, we like to get around, see different places, see how stuff's done. I think you can learn a lot of different people. I think that's important.
Yeah. Well, talking of sim racing, perfect. You also work as an F1 Racing World Championship steward?
Yes, I'm the head steward for So Formula 1 have their own sim racing World Championship. So I'm the head steward for that. I've been for the last 3 years, I think.
So what does a steward do for that?
So a steward for that would be very much like a clerk of the course would be in race. So that is generally reviewing incidents live or... it's the same as an F1 steward, basically. So you're reviewing incidents, something's reported from a marshal or an observer or clerk. We review it, decide what action to take, and inevitably annoy somebody.
And this is worldwide thing? Because it's obviously online.
So although it's broadcast and shown online for the last 2 years, it's been generally filmed in a studio. So the one we just completed we had 4 different events, but with 3 rounds at each event. So the first one was in DreamHack in a big gaming convention in Birmingham NEC. So we had a big stage set up and we did it live in front of our audience. Then the following rounds after that was at Biggin Hill, so Formula 1 headquarters just outside London. Okay. So yeah, but the year before.
And is there prizes for the winners, like monetary prizes?
£750,000 is a prize fund.
See, Aaron's eyes went double the size of his head. Yeah,
just a bit like.
Yeah,
I knew it was expensive. I knew it was a lot of money you got for it.
If you got to like
grand, I mean,
it's
wow.
It's all the official F1 teams, and then they'll develop esports drivers who'll then represent them. So they generally have 3. They submit 3 drivers, and then every race they'll pick 2 to enter.
Wow! I was going to say, so it's kind of like you've got to like kind of audition for one of a better word.
You qualify. So you used to have, I say qualify. You used to have qualifiers, which was really really good series a couple of years ago. So anybody with kind of a Steam account, an Xbox, PlayStation, you could enter and go through qualifiers, and then you get taken to a 2 or 3 day event where you then basically, it's like a recruitment sort of thing. You'd kind of
the fastest ones get through, and then until it gets down to whoever's top 2. So what program is it they use for it?
Say again, sorry.
What was the program? Is it like an Assetto Corsa or
no? It's the official F1 sim
or is it a
racing
bespoke thing? Yeah, okay. You can tell I know much about sim racing.
Yeah. No, so we use the official F1 sim racing game, we do have what we call an esports build. So it's not too dissimilar to what public buy, but it's not the exact same thing. It's just little tweaks, and then generally it's just certain menus are closed. So all the drivers are in equal cars, so they're all the same. They're all the same performance. So it is really down to driver ability. That rather than, I don't know, racing for McLaren this year or Red Bull a few years ago, and it's incredibly tight.
Wow.
It's incredibly tight. So qualifying, there's what? 18 on the grid we just had this year. So Audi and Cadillac aren't in it yet, or didn't enter this year. So it was literally thousandths of a second from first down to 10th in qualifying, every single event, because they are so close.
That is good to be
Wow.
fair. So, you say you review incidents sort of live and all this. So, you got any sort of ones you want to talk about?
Say again, sorry.
You were saying you review incidents live in this. So, have you got any incidents you'd like to talk about?
We do review them live. So we have something called spotters, which is actually a great system, which is they're virtual marshals, if you want to call it that way. So what happens is each person, we have 10 spotters, are assigned to what we call pods, but it's basically the point of view cameras from the cars, and they'll watch those two drivers for the duration of whatever session it is, and they can basically submit a report. So they'll submit a report for us. We get a little timestamp. We'll watch it back. We do this while the event's on, by the way. We do it live for the whole session, and then we will make a decision and then announce it again, just like you get with real F1. It'll just pop up on the little screen. So we've all got radios to production and race director. So it's just basically we make a decision. We've got a race director called Adam, absolutely fantastic person, worked with him for the last couple of years, and we'll say to Adam, we're issuing a penalty at 5 seconds for gaining unfair advantage. And he'll go, cool, who to? He'll be able to go through to production team, the exact same ones which work on the F1, and they'll put the overlays on. It's exactly the same process.
Just when you're talking about overlays there, it was, again, at the Grand Prix, it's quite scary because the second you press the yellow button,
straight on the screen,
it comes up on the telly, yellow flag.
And it gets everyone's attention.
You've just
got to go, hold on, where's that?
Yeah. And it's weird that it was kind of drummed into us over the weekend. Not drummed into us, we know, but you've got potentially 100 million people focused on you. If you press that yellow button, so we're always told, always try and use a white before you use a yellow for F1.
Yeah, just go for the slow moving vehicle and just so it's not ruining people's laps, I assume.
Basically. So if somebody came up from Brooklands and got to Cops and they spun, it would not be a yellow unless they stop on the track and it doesn't like they're going to move. It would just be a white. Even if they were turning round to go, it would be a white. Again, like you say, because it can mess up somebody's lap, especially in a qualifying and a race. Yellow flag, if somebody does come to a stop, if they are close to the edge of the track or on the track, it will be a single waved yellow until they extricate themselves. Once they stand up in the car, then it becomes a double yellow until they're off the circuit, and then it goes back to a single yellow. Because as we all know, there's slightly different rules that you have to do if you're driving through a single yellow or if you're driving through a double yellow, i.e. how much you have to pull off the throttle.
Well, that came to light a few weeks ago, didn't it, with the Formula One, with George Russell backing off on a qualifying lap or not backing off, and then Kimi did or something because he thought it was a single or a double. So that was the argument, wasn't it? Should they kind of stood? Yeah.
So it's kind of, and it's also the way the tracks are set up. I know the FIA do a track inspection. No Motorsport UK do a track inspection. But you know the circuit probably better than me. But on Cops, my light panel was at the 100 meter board. TSP 10. It's at the 100 meter board. There is no other lights until you're way up past another marshal post, which is the green one.
Yeah, I think they're up just about where Escapade start, aren't they? It's quite a fair stretch because you've got the whole runoff, and you've got the whole runoff until that ends, haven't you? And then it's on your.
Yes. Yeah. So if somebody, I'll give you the prime example, was at the weekend there. Everyone was talking about it. It was all over Sky Sports and everything. The Lewis Hamilton incident when he allegedly didn't lift off for the yellow. Kind of my fault. If I'd have pressed the button a couple of seconds earlier, there is a high possibility he would have got a bigger penalty. But I'm looking down for the cars coming up, as well as looking down the track for the cars going away. Because doing the buttons, you're looking everywhere. Whereas the yellow flag marshal, the blue flag marshal, one will look that way and one will look that way. I'm having to scan the whole thing. So Nico came up. He wasn't going particularly slow, to be honest with you. So I wasn't focusing on him to do a white. He came up. I seen another two cars coming round the corner at the bottom. Seen them coming up, and somebody shouted, "Audi Blacks went off." For those that don't know, we don't use numbers at Formula One. It's the model of the car and the camera. So if it was Audi yellow, it would have been who, Aaron? See, I'm just trying to get you to wake up there. Okay, so if Lewis went off at Cops and somebody would say Ferrari yellow, right? If it was Leclerc that went off, it would be Ferrari black. Anyway, so I'm looking down, somebody shouts, Nico's went off, the blacks went off. I look, you don't want to hit the yellow button straight away, because all I see is he's pulling to a stop, and he could accelerate away. You've put a yellow on.
Yeah.
It's thingy. A plume of black smoke came out the back of his car, and then I hit the yellow. But Lewis had already gone past the yellow board. He was halfway around the corner at 100 miles an hour or something by the time I pressed
he's gone past the board before you've pressed it. So he's gone
past. He's not seen the board. He's seen the blue.
Oh, yeah.
Because the blues are done GPS at Formula One. So Nico had triggered the blue for them coming up behind him. So Lewis only seen the blue. As he's went through the corner, I've pressed the yellow. It's come up on his dash, but from looking at when the light panel started flashing green in front of him to when it actually came on his dash, there was probably a half a second delay, which is fair. It's technology. It's got to get from my panel to race control to get to the F1 thing to send it to his car. He's past, like I think Martin Brundle said it, he was past the incident. He would have seen he was past the incident. The biggest thing from his reprimand, I believe, was the fact that Max Verstappen did pull off the throttle and he was the car behind.
But if Max was behind, there's a better chance, obviously, Max has seen that yellow and Lewis not.
But but when they looked at the footage from both cars, Max didn't see the yellow either because they were that close when they went around the corner.
Okay.
All Max would have seen was the little lights on his dash as well. So ultimately, if I'd have pressed the button 1 second to 2 seconds quicker, they would have been on the podium and not Lewis. That's what we believe, because he would have got a higher penalty, maybe a 5-10 second penalty.
I think he had quite a few though, didn't he, Lewis, from that? I mean, the one moving before the 20.
He did. He had a jump start, which was classed, I think, officially as a jump start. But then when you watch it frame by frame, like Anthony Davidson did on the Skypad, yes, it moved forward, but when the lights went out, he was stopped.
Yeah.
So it was a jump start, but it wasn't a jump start.
We have it quite a lot in karting, very similar. So we'll use this, an overview, just like they do with the Formula One. The only issue is we haven't got the onboard, so you can't necessarily see that kind of movement as easy. But we have something in place, so they've got to get the nose cone up to the line, and then the static light goes out, they can go. But we play by the same rule book. So if there's any kind of movement before the lights go out, you've jumped. What happens is exactly the same as what happened there, is they'll creep, they'll try to anticipate, go a second early, stop, the lights will go out, they'll go again. And inevitably they end up losing time, but then they'll still get a penalty because they moved before the lights have gone out. And it does seem harsh, but at the same time it's also a case of, well, those are the rules, aren't they? That's the thing.
Could you look at it? Yes, it might be harsh. I'm going on the Formula One side here, by the way, as opposed to karts. These are meant to be the 22 best drivers in the world.
The other thing.
And if they can't put a car into gear and not jump forward, there's something not right.
That's the other thing, isn't it? That's the thing. I mean, that came to light. I mean, you're probably too young for this, but that came to light a long time ago when they had the beeping system in the helmet. Remember when the teams installed that? And then the FAA changed the sequence, and that caused absolute carnage.
Yeah.
Well, just off the age thing, I want you to guess what year I was born in, just for a laugh.
I'm going to say 2002. No, you'd be younger.
2010.
You'd be younger, wouldn't you? Cadet Marshall. Yeah, you would be. Yeah. 2010. Jeez. It's a good job YouTube did that, because you wouldn't have seen the light sequence thing, would you, before that? So that's a bummer.
No, I've seen clips of it.
Yeah.
It's quite smart.
Yeah, well, I was going to say the teams have basically created a system where they could have an audio beep in time with the lights. So you go beep, 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 and then off. And then I think it's one of those things where they kind of said where it wasn't not allowed, if that makes sense, but the FA didn't like it.
Yeah.
So then they changed the sequence without telling anybody. And a bit like you were saying there about having the best drivers, a lot of them were listening for the beep and it never happened. So some sat there, some went and then stopped.
Yeah. Do you remember, again, Aaron, and I'm not putting this on you at all, right? But I'm not sure you would have realised it was happening at the time. Do you remember that one year when Valtteri Bottas was accused of cheating?
Yes.
Because he reacted to the lights so quickly.
I do remember that. I was I would guess now, was that 2019 at Austria?
It was in a Mercedes.
Yeah, it was Sebastian Vettel onside front row of him. He reacted in under a tenth of a second, was it not?
Something like that, yeah.
And it was just gone, and Vettel's on the radio, like, no chance.
Yeah. I've got another quick question about Silverstone. if you're up for it. So one of our illustrious hosts, Amber, put a post on TikTok today, and I completely understand where she's coming from. The access for marshals, it's great. You're on post. You're that close to the action, right? But that's kind of it. You get a pit walk on the Saturday night.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed to take your guest. You're not allowed to take your guest with you.
Okay.
It's only for the marshal that's working the Grand Prix. So me personally, I think it would be good if the marshal's guest got GA plus instead of GA.
Yeah, so you get
because the tickets that we get are just yeah. So marshals or people that are working for Silverstone like yourself, if you get guest passes, I don't know how yours work, but for the marshals anyway, and if you could take your guest on the pit walk, would be great. I know there might be a thing with security and tabards and stuff, but they've got wristbands. They can get camping wristbands, or
I was gonna.
I don't know, give them one of these for a wee bit or something, you know?
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment, and I think you just probably go through accreditation and, like say, get a band, which just access you that on the side. In terms of our tickets, we don't get tickets as staff anyway. So not.
Oh, do you not?
Formula One. Any other event, excluding Formula One and MotoGP, we can get free. You get 3 free tickets to every single event, which is a really good perk, to be fair. But yeah, Formula One we don't. Yeah. There's no kind of friends and family perk or anything to it.
So don't take this the wrong way, but the marshals kind of win that way then, because we get a guest ticket. We always get a guest ticket.
I think it's one of those things where if I'd have asked nicely, they'd probably be able to sort something, but it's not. Yeah. You don't initially get it as a kind of a given.
Yeah.
I think.
Saying that, on one of my TikToks, I did go through we get a thank you bag as a marshal, and a lot of people like, oh, you're getting a couple of hats, blah blah blah. But if you actually sit back and you look, I mean, that was the hat that I got this year.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think that's about 60 quid or something. I was going to say,
how much is that going to set you back in a shop?
Yeah, we got one of these, the Silverstone Volunteer one. Again, for them to get made and retail would probably be 20, 30 quid, something like that. A programme, which was 20 quid. So you're £100 there, more or less, straight away.
I think it's only right, though, that the marshals get things like that. You know, like I said, the difference is, for guys like yourself, you're travelling a very long way to volunteer and sleep in a field, in essence, for 4 or 5 nights.
Yeah, no, I totally understand.
Whereas it's different for us because it's our job, isn't it? We're there and we're getting paid as staff. So I think it's only fair that you get the general admission. The gift bag's a nice touch, you know. I know that.
Well, I was going to ask that question actually. Being staff, does that restrict your access around your workplace because the pit lane is now owned by Formula One? You can't just walk down it because you work there.
So with our staff passes, we have a QR code on, and they'll scan in, or you scan in every single morning, and it'll scan you into, in theory, your shift, and it'll only give you access to the areas where you should be, which is a really smart system. So if I try to scan into someone else's sector, so when I started on the 5:30 every morning, I'd scan in the accreditation tent next to where the food and the marshals area was. I'd scan into security. If I tried to scan in a QR code for a different department, like catering or marshals, it'd just ping up and say you're not designated in this area. And it's the same if we were to try and get into different areas on the weekend. So if I did want to think, you know what, I want to go down the pit lane on Saturday night, but unless you had a shift there and you could prove you had a shift there, you can't scan in access.
Right, okay. Yeah.
That's really good. The ID's all got our photos. It's all signed to our name, address, and everything like that. So part of the security is, you know, you can be scanned, you can be checked, and then you can say, you know, what's your name, what's your address. It stops your pass kind of being handed around to anybody and just getting in.
Yeah. I did notice the QR codes on the guest tickets. It was like a, what do they call it, a live QR code?
Yes, it just rotates.
So there was a little thing that in it. Yeah. So you can't, because they used to have that on the buses here when they started this new system, and people would screenshot their day tickets and send it to their pals, and they could use it on all the buses. And now they use this code that automatically updates every 5 seconds or whatever it is with the time. So they can't do that anymore. I noticed the QR code in my accreditation disappeared the week before the Grand Prix, and I really started to panic. I'm thinking, oh my God, what's happening here? I didn't realise that you can now just tap it like you're paying for something in a shop.
Yeah, they're quite cool. I think the security wise with that was really good, really good. That worked quite well. You did have different passes for different areas, but again, it was only, you'd only get a pass for an area you're meant to be in, which works quite well. So yeah, as staff, you can't just generally just wander in and say, you know, I'm going to do the pit lane. I don't think it's fair. It's going to take away the opportunity for people who've put a lot of time and money and effort to be there. You know, the pit lane's huge, but it only holds so many people.
Yeah. So I was going to say there's got to be a health and safety risk assessment done somewhere on how many people can be in it at the same time.
Correct. So part of Escapades this week, over the weekend, was on the rooftop bar. I think it may have come up on TV a couple of times. I'm not too sure. But where Escapades is, you kind of got the big fancy apartments, then the main building with the restaurant and the rooftop bar. We could only have 150 people there because of the floor size. So yeah, part of my job that weekend is just kind of managing the amount of people you got up there, make sure everybody's safe, everybody's 150. It left space for everybody. You could have got more up there, but like you say, somebody somewhere with a clipboard has gone round and said it's this much space. It'd be the same for the pit lane.
Right. Yeah. Because even the drivers and the teams only have so many free tickets they can hand out.
Yeah, and you'll find as well with the paddock tours and the paddock passes, teams will only have a certain amount of those, and they'll kind of get recycled. You'll see people wearing them. Right. They might have 8, for example, for the team, and it's up to the team how they want to use them.
Right.
But
so the team might say, right, okay, we can give you access on the Friday, but you hand your pass back and it gets given to somebody else on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what you'll see on TikTok where teams will go around and say, I can see you're an Alpine fan. I think there was one a couple of weeks ago. A young lady got a paddock pass. Obviously, there's no name or anything, but they'll scan in, wander around the paddock for an hour, couple of hours, whatever, hand that back, and then that'll be then reused later on. It's just so they know there's a maximum in the paddock.
Yeah, because I was going to say there was a lot of things over the weekend coming up on the big screens that I could see. People going up to like the Hamilton stand and these, do you want to come into the paddock? Do you want to come into the paddock? Do you want to come into the paddock? That kind of stuff. But this is just a recycle pass. They're not in it for the full weekend. They're only in for like a wee tour, look about, and then they're away again and somebody else is using it type thing. Correct.
And like I say, because of safety regulations, they've issued, I'm making a figure up, but so they've issued 500 paddock passes. It's probably a lot more, but they know at any given time they're going to have a maximum of 500 people. Chances are they're a lot less. I'm just making that number up, by the way. I'm not saying it is 500, but yeah, that's exactly how it works. And same with the pit lane.
Well, you must be pretty busy being the karting manager and working as a steward for the sim racing as well. It must be quite busy for you.
Yeah, I tend to have seasons, to be fair. So the sim racing season is generally January through to March.
Right.
So we'll just have like a week away. So when we were in Sweden last year, I'd fly on the Sunday, come back on the Sunday, and that'd be my work for the week, if that makes sense. And so. Yeah. It sounds like a lot, but it's only a couple of weeks in theory per year if you do it like that.
From what you said, Joe, working for Silverstone and the Formula One student stuff, it sounds like a really good gig, and it sounds like they really look after you.
It's fantastic. The amount of opportunities you get as well, especially because you can pick and choose different areas on busy events. It's really good. Like I say, I was in security. We had a couple of people in catering. We had a few people in the main gate. We had a couple of people down by the main stage. It's really, really good, and you're treated really well. The shifts they're not outrageous, to be fair. So I was.
So did you not get the 14-hour shift on Friday then?
I had a 13.5 on Friday. I was very lucky. Yeah, but yeah, it's nice. We've always kind of got food and drink available. We work in quite small teams, so.
Right.
Although as part of probably thousands and thousands of security people, there was myself and 5 in my team. So my supervisor it works really well. My supervisor on top of everything. If you want anything, you wanted a break, a drink, whatever,
Yeah. That's where we kind of fall short a little bit on the banking, is basically because you get there. I mean, what time were we there on Sunday? We were there at 6:20 on the Sunday. You do your briefing, you do your sign-on, check and all that kind of stuff. Yes, we could go back. You know yourself how Silverstone works. I was a remote, so the flagging post for cops is remote to the actual post itself. We could go back for the toilet whenever we needed it, bottles of water and stuff like that. We don't have the chance to nip out to the burger van and get something out there type thing. We did get a lunch supplied, which was very nice, which is a bit like our local track at Knockhill, the SMRC races and the KMSC races. That's just one for all the marshals out there. If you want to marshal Knockhill, you will get your lunch and you will get a hot pie at lunchtime. And I do know that not every circuit does that. Touring cars, local meets up at Knockhill, SMRC and KMSC will always supply a hot lunch, whether a Scotch pie, steak pie, pikes of crisps, sandwiches, cans of juice, chocolate, all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't say we always get it because it's that busy. That's going to be the big thing for me. You won't understand this probably, Aaron, but at Formula One weekends, although what you see on the TV is the block of the race, blah, blah, there is things on all day, but there's also a lot of downtime because they're making sure that the track's ready, the sweepers are out, all that kind of stuff. When you get to your Knock Hill races, I mean, how many sessions have we got tomorrow?
We've got 26 sessions, starting at 8:30 tomorrow morning.
26 sessions on the Saturday.
Nice.
Aye. And the Sunday's not far off it either.
Mate, we've got like 5 minutes in every single session. It's going to be lethal. There's no way we get that first on time. And if we do, this podcast come out on Saturday, it should do at least. And if we get through that Saturday completely on schedule, I would say I'll do something, but I'm not going to say that because there's a very high chance probably because it's not go somehow. But I'll be very surprised because we've got Legends, we've got 2 CVs, DDMC, Northern Sports and Saloons, and Supercars. All 4 of them will be chaos.
That's the issue with the time schedule, though, isn't it? Like you mentioned with Marshals, doing such a fantastic job. You might see the schedule and say, there's track action from 9 till 4. But yeah, the amount of time that you're on track beforehand, if there's a red flag, that's your lunch break on, isn't it? Let's be honest. That's the issue. You're tidying up, you're sorting stuff.
Although I have to say, not for this boy here, because he works in assembly.
Oh, he can just wander off. Yeah, I was going to say,
I'll be honest. When it was hot last year, I just every half an hour went, I'm going to get ice cream. I just went and got ice cream. I had ice cream. It was winter. Go off track,
Well, see, this weekend, Darren, I'll be situated approximately 20 metres from you on post 10. Ice creams, post 10, please.
If I get some free ones, maybe. I don't have money for it. I don't have ice cream money. I'm broke. I have 250 in my bank account. That's it.
I'd say enjoy it now,
Sorry, Joel, what were you going to say there?
I'd say enjoy it now, though, Aaron, because obviously in a couple of years when you turn 18, you're stuck in a post and it's going to be 1 mile away from anything.
Yeah. This next year, actually, I get stuck on a post.
No.
Post 7. We'll put you on post 7 for a year. How's that sound?
No. We are not doing that.
Just for context, Joel, post 7 is on the inside of the track.
Yeah.
With no access to toilets, in full sun all day, and there's no really anywhere you can go for as men sometimes do, a cheeky wee around the back of the post, because you've got the top of the hill with people looking down on you all day.
Yeah, it's the post that nobody really wants. I'll take post 6 for you.
So
that ain't bad.
In terms of your post at Silverstone then, John, do you find out well in advance where you're going to be, or is it on the day, or how does that work?
We found out about a week and a half beforehand through the Sporty. Everything's done through the Sporty app.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of the Sporty app.
Yeah, that's Motorsport UK registration licensing thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So they do it in stages, and they always leave the post allocation till last because you get so many people that will say, "Nah, I don't like that. I'm not going anymore." So they always leave that till last. So your track maps will come out first with where all your fire tenders are going to be, where your snatch crews are going to be. Then you'll get another one that will have that, plus doctors' cars and that are on it. And then you get a map of all the corners and the post chief numbers. And then you'll get one exactly the same, but it will have the incident sectors on it. And then the week before, the allocations will come out.
So they slowly tease you up to building a full circuit picture, and then you find out.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying, John, that it used to be for the touring cars and not kill it come out on the day? Like you just turn up and fill up a post?
It still does, and it's going to happen the same this year.
So that's right. Okay, I'll be honest. I'm lying. I said I noticed that last year.
And the reason they do that is there was too many years in the past where people were given their post and just didn't turn up because they didn't like the post.
Not because they didn't like the post, because it was post 7.
See, I thought it was like that anyway. I mean, I think it's really good that you get told in advance. But from my experience in marshalling, yes, it's generally a lot smaller circuits. But it's normally, you're kind of on the day. I've never...
Yeah. I'll be honest, with Knock Hill, SMRC, KMSC, the Chief Marshal will send out the allocations the Wednesday of the week of the race.
So you got a few days
So
before.
I found out on Wednesday this week where I was going to be this weekend.
You already knew.
No, I had an idea. I didn't know I had an idea because I got asked if there was anything in particular that I would like or wouldn't like.
And following on with the marketing question then, being told the week before, so the British Grand Prix, do you prefer that sort of help with kind of packing and planning, or would you prefer to go, right, I'm going anyway, tell me on the day? What would you prefer?
Me personally, I'm just nosy and I want to know where I am.
Okay.
So last year I was in Chapel, right? Now, this is just really odd why they do this. They do it every year, and we know what happens. So the stagecoach buses come and pick us up in the morning. The stagecoach buses come and pick us up at night. We all know that there is an F1 that there is no nothing allowed on track an hour after the Grand Prix.
Yes, correct, because they
But
open all
every
the gates and
single-
everything.
Yes, and every single year it comes over the radio. Thanks for all your help today, guys. Listen, I've just heard the buses aren't coming to collect you now. You'll need to walk back to the campsite.
But you know that's coming every single time.
We know it's coming every year, but they always tell us the buses will be there at the end of the race.
But on Chapel,
Which is another reason why I said
I was going to say you'd be on the wrong side of the track at Chapel, because you could get into the loop, couldn't you? But then you're miles from home.
well, yeah, I was on the inside because the helicopter was landing there last year. I don't know if it was this year, but last year the tele helicopter was landing there. So we had to walk down the track a little bit, take a left, win over a bridge, and then basically walk through where all the Arctics were lined up.
Yeah, and then straight down Cops Tunnel.
Towards the Cops Tunnel to go back down the Cops. Yeah. It's just the fact that they tell you the buses will pick you up after the race on Sunday, and then they come on and they say, "Oh, unfortunately, we don't know where the buses are. They're no coming. Make your own way back." But we all know there's no action allowed on the track for an hour after, apart from the pickup trucks that tries to take away the 100-meter signs and the 50-meter signs in case they get nicked.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Taking your work at Silverstone, you will know this. Obviously, there's been clips going around of people that have got a 100-meter board above their head or something like that, and they've got one. Do they actually make it out of the track? Or is that just hold it out for half an hour and just get nicked?
I think some do. I think it depends where you try and come off the track is the answer. So a lot of people walk kind of down towards Vale, like you say, kind of Vale and that down Hamilton Straight and then off. And then inevitably you've got stewards and security guards that are going to say, no, you're not having that. But there's probably other places that people can come back through gates in the wrong direction. Like say with Vale especially, there's nothing stopping you walking around to the gravel trap and watching the podium and just turning back on yourself.
Yeah,
so I think it depends where.
I mean, like I say, I was away 6:30 this year. I got lucky, but last year I remember walking back from Chapel and everyone was on the track, and they were like the trying to take boards and that kind of stuff, and they got to the gate, not the gate at the cops post, the gate a little bit further down where the big silver building is, and the security guard was brilliant. She was like, "Did you come on the track with it?" No. Well, you ain't leaving with it either. And it was brilliant because it was like all the hoarding was piled up at the side, which meant they didn't have to go and collect it afterwards because the punters had done it all for them.
So theoretically, let's say this, right? Theoretically, if you pay for parking, like 150 quid, you have to pay for parking, but if you pay for parking at the British Grand Prix, right, could you not just make a 100-meter board, put it in your car, and then just drive away?
Where are you going to get it?
In theory, yes, but you've got to get it through the security gate.
Yeah.
You've got to get past the security guard first.
Well, yeah, but if you've got like a boot cover, then it's a lucky day, you might.
You've got to remember, though, that Silverstone's not like Knockhill, so there is a massive high catch fencing around the whole circuit.
Yeah.
It's not like you could just chuck it over the barrier and your pal on the other side would get it.
Like, is the car outside the...
The car's outside the circuit, mate. It's nowhere near the circuit.
Yeah, I was going to say, the closest I think I've seen to the circuit was a VIP parking at the back of Escapade, and it was still a good 300-400 yards from the track. So you'd have to come off the track past security, then go back through security into the car park itself.
Yeah.
So you'd be hard pushed.
You would have to, and I'm not going to say it where it is on the podcast, right? Because I don't want people to find this out. But there is certain places in that catch fencing where, if you know where they are, you probably could slide a sign through it or round it or something.
There probably is.
This one, John reveals that you nicked the 100-meter board.
But then it's not just the security at the gate, Aaron, when you come off the circuit. You've then got the security to go out the gates. So you've got like the cops gate, you've got the Vale gate, all that kind of stuff. You've then got to try and get through them. And believe you me, those guys don't take jip off nobody.
You are right, though, Aaron. Obviously, at some point, people probably do. But what you probably find with a lot of the footage is it's someone walking down the track holding it. That's what I've seen a lot of on TikTok is all the one I've got. And they're still on, say, the Hamilton Straight or in a gravel pit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
what you want them to show you is, look what I've got, and putting it in their boot.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee it didn't.
Yeah, in their living room 2 days later.
Yeah.
But no, funnily enough, you don't see that because it never got there.
Yeah, exactly. Tell you what I did get asked a lot for over the weekend, actually, was marbles.
That's really common.
See the marbles off the cars?
No, I agree.
Yeah, but you've got to think, though, Aaron, these people, it could be their first ever Grand Prix. And they just want a little trinket of something off a Formula One car. It's a little bit of discarded rubber. He knew we can walk down Knockhill after a touring car weekend, and it's... And?
Yeah.
This is the thing.
You might
have been this, right? But if you pick off, after all the running's done for the weekend, if you pick off a random piece of rubber from the track, is there a chance that's a Porsche?
No, because before the Formula 1 session, the road sweepers are out.
Right,
Everything is picked up.
Everything's spread.
It's still just rubber, isn't it?
Everything's spread between every
I don't
session.
really get it.
The only way you could probably do that is if you are really deep in a gravel track and it's something what's come off weeks, months, years ago. But anything kind of remotely trackside will be from the F1 race. Anything like really old and weathered, it could have been there from for however long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really see the obsession with it. Like, I get why people want, right? But end of the day, the same rubber that is used for Formula 1 will be used to F2, F3, whatever. You know? End of the day, it is just rubber.
You've got to think, though, obviously, they don't do select amount of drivers on the grid, like John was saying, and they're the best in the world. So if you can get a bit of rubber, yes, you've got probably not great chances, but it could be from Max's car, it could be from Lando's, it could be from Reese's. In your own mind, it's that bit of rubber's probably come from the exact driver that you wanted to come from. Where
you could.
The only thing I can guarantee is, like I say, after every session, whether it be F3, F2, F1 Academy, the road sweepers came out. So after the race on Sunday, every single bit of marble on that track at Cops was from a Formula 1 car.
Yeah. I'll see. I do see why they'll do it, right? But if you have a chance and you get into the paddock at some point, right, would it not be cool to try and go up to teams and be like, yo, have you got a broken part or something like that? Just any team. Because
teams are very unlikely to give anything away because everything in Formula 1 is so secretive.
And motorsport's boring.
Whether it nut, which you might think is quite insignificant, but that nut might be some special carbon, titanium,
material,
Mars metal thing that they don't want anybody else. And you've got to think as well, these teams are constantly spying on each other.
Mm-hmm.
We actually just when talking about spying on things there, we played a game on Sunday because we were told unofficially that we have the army are going around and there will be people placed around the track to stop like protesters, that type of stuff.
Yep.
And there will also be in every section 4 undercover army people. So if somebody tried to scale the fence, they would jump out of the crowd and help the other army guys to subdue them and take them away. So we did spend a couple of hours on the Sunday playing Guess the Undercover. And I'll be honest, we probably got 3 of the 4. And again, I am not racist one bit, but when you have a full section of people with this skin colour and then one person standing at the back with shades on and a hat with his arms folded, looking about like this, with a totally different skin colour, it was a bit obvious that he was not meant to be there or he was doing something.
We've tended to play similar sort of games as well when we know that something that's going on. And I think if you're kind of watching an audience as well, you can see who's watching the racing and who's watching people.
Yeah.
You can generally get a gist that they're not, they're not looking at the track and they're not making noises when kind of something happens. It's just, you're obviously watching somebody else.
Yeah. Again, we had another guy at Cops, and I would probably say 99 to 100% of people at Cops were with somebody, whether it be a partner or a child or something like that. But there was one guy on his seat, sat right in the middle. His legs were twitching like he was nervous, and he was just looking about like this. And I'm like, that's an undercover. Got to be an undercover that way.
We didn't have any undercovers that aware of an escapade. What we just had is kind of lots of people wandering around. So on the Saturday and Sunday,
right,
I was actually down in the kind of compound area itself. So they got the big villas, what you can see on the track, and then there's about 38 other basically apartments out there. But I don't know if it's common knowledge, but we had a few drivers stopping down there anyway. It's probably out there now. But we had a few drivers stopping with us in escapade, and you just get this one guy running around every morning. So we get in at 6 o'clock, and he was out for a jog every morning and then he'd disappear. Then he'd come back out for an hour. And I think it was something similar. Yeah. I think it was just kind of a case of, rather than having a big, great security guard stood there, they've just kind of got someone floating.
Yeah.
So all your drivers were together. They're all located really close to each other. And then the weirdest...
Was there any of the F1 drivers staying at Escapade?
Yeah. So we had... I can tell you now because it's not going to make a difference.
You don't need to give names if you're not allowed.
I can't see it being an issue because it's been and gone, hasn't it? But we had Carlos Sainz, Alex Albon and Pierre Gasly.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah. So... I started on, I think, 6 o'clock Saturday morning. I was out for a wander around, and then Alex just came kind of jogging past and just made you think, that's a weird world.
Yeah. And the Silverstone FM this year, absolutely fantastic. Constantly getting the crowd behind us and saying thank you to the marshals and everything else. It was really, really, really good. And I can't remember if I said on the podcast if it was before we were recording, but there was three of us, the three flag, so the two manual flag marshals and me as the FIMS marshal, as they like to call us. We're walking at the end of the race on Sunday, just down towards the gate at Cops, and the grandstand at Cops was clapping for us and whistling and well done. And then you walk out of the gate, there's a massive, massive crowd of people trying to get through this gate, and the security guard opens the gate for us, and it was like the partner of the Red Sea. Everyone just partied and started clapping, and we're kind of embarrassed. Do you know what I mean? I just stood there for 3 days and pressed a few buttons. Joel, thank you very, very much for coming on to the podcast. It has been a great insight into Silverstone and everything that goes on behind the scenes at Silverstone. So thank you very, very much for coming on. Not a problem. And hopefully next time we're down at Silverstone, we'll cross paths.